What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Crab Net Show. On tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the English Premier League. It's finally concluded over the past weekend. We're going to do a season wrap and look at the Champions League positions and the relegation battle that went down to the wire. Our second segment will be about the BALLON d'OR 2020. What would have been? Yes, the BALLON d'OR was cancelled this year due to the COVID, but many big names have lost an opportunity to take this trophy away from Ronaldo and Messi. We'll talk to that in the second segment. And lastly, going on with the trivia segment that we started in episode 6, we're going to do a bit of trivia. And 10 years later, we're sitting here in South Africa on the streets, but in 2010, we were all celebrating the World Cup in the month of July. So we're going to bring in the 2010 World Cup trivia, reliving the first African World Cup. I'm your host, Raj, and welcome again to the Crab Nets. It's the 7th episode, and we've got a full house today, as well as one of our favorite guests joining us again. But starting from the top, our homeboy, Shay. Welcome back, Shay.
Hey Raj, shot. Good to be back, guys. Happy to be here.
Short Shay. And Kai is back again with us. Kai, what's happening?
How's it, boys? Good to be back.
Short Kai, welcome back. Guri is also on the table with us. Gur.
Hey, gents. How's it?
How's it? What kind? And as I said, listeners, we've got our one of our favorite guests, Cass, is joining us again. Cass, welcome to the Nets again.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me again. It's a pleasure to be back.
We always love your opinions on the Nets, Cass, so welcome again. Some exciting topics in store this afternoon. We're recording on Tuesday, the 28th of July, just a few days after the English Premier League season came to an end. The curtain fell on a very long season due to the COVID lockdown, and the restart brought a lot of exciting dimensions to the English Premier League finale. And we'll start with that segment, looking at the season wrap after Sunday's final games took place, starting with the Champions League's positions. It was a tight battle, and to start off with Gur, maybe Gur, your thoughts. You must be an excited man. Your boys United pulled through in third position with victory over Leicester. It came down to the wire, but you must be really happy with your boys pulling through on the last day of the season. Gur?
Yeah, man, definitely. Really happy. We deserved it too. I think we did deserve to get the third spot. We played well after this restart, and we deserve what came to us. Hope it boosts the spirits. I can see the tiredness, I think, is getting to the players, as we could see throughout most teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not one to go and start writing headline news when they do bad in one or two games. It's just football. I'm glad overall the result is showing that we did well.
Yeah, and definitely United had a lot of momentum towards the restarts post the COVID break. And Shay, to pull you in here, I think the biggest difference in your squad came when Bruno Fernandes came into that United setup. Ever since he joined, United looked like a different team. What's your thoughts on Fernandes bringing Champions League football, or was it something else that maybe brought this third position at the end of the season, Shay?
I agree with you. I think Fernandes is a huge part of this change in United and this great performances they've been putting in week after week. Ever since he's been in there, it's been goals and assists non-stop. You can see his creativity in the midfield. I think Juan Mata had a similar influence when he came to United a long time ago, but Fernandes now is the new kid on the block. He's the one that's creating stuff, and it's giving Pogba a lot more freedom to actually play his game. You can see him when he actually did pair up with Fernandes. He's picked his game up a lot. There's a lot less pressure in that midfield, and he's got a great front three in front of him in Greenwood, Rashford, and Martial. And you can play any one of them in the middle. I noticed Martial's playing down the middle quite often. And it's going to be pretty interesting now. I hear rumors about Jadon Sancho coming through from Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
At an 89 million bid rejected. I don't know how this budget works these days. I mean, putting in 89 million bids for a 20-year-old, maybe we haven't seen enough of him to know his true potential. But I do hope that he steps into United and they have this battle for competition in the front four.
And I mean, Champions League football is going to bring some huge signings to Old Trafford. But Chelsea has also secured Champions League football. And Kai, to pull you in here, a magnificent job by Frank Lampard to get the team into Europe and the elite in Champions League next season. What's your thoughts on Chelsea's last day victory, as well as the fact that they've guaranteed themselves Champions League football next season? Kai?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely Chelsea have done well considering what we've said with the new manager, no transfer, those kind of things. But I still, I don't understand everyone's ranting and raving about this top four. When Arsenal did it for so many years, it was a trophy that people ridicule. Now top four is an achievement. I don't get it.
No, I think, as you said, it was ridiculed, but no one can debate the fact that making that top four is a critical part of every big club's ambition in England. And it was unfortunate that maybe one of the smaller clubs, Leicester, just missed out. And Cass, I want to get your opinion on this one. Leicester was in that top four for a majority of the season. And finally, on the last day, they were pumped with that loss to United. Do you think Leicester was maybe just too late in their peak, Cass?
Maybe too early in their peak, because they were sitting like 13 points ahead of United initially, and then United caught them up. So I think they had some shocking games post-lockdown. Lost to Bournemouth, I think Spurs as well, and by then it was lost. And I mean, at the end of the day, the table doesn't lie. At the end of the season, everything balances out, and the teams that deserve to be there are there. So I do feel bad for Leicester. It would have been nice to see them in the top four and giving a go in the Champions League. From a selfish point of view, I would have preferred Leicester instead of Chelsea. Because I feel Chelsea are going to be dangerous next season. They're going to attract a lot more players, and it will look scary, I think. So yeah, unlucky for Leicester. I think post-lockdown, they sold it in a couple of games, and then there was injuries. The game against United, the two fullbacks were like these unknown guys.
Yep, and they lost some key players.
It's a bit tough for them. Yeah. I think Rodgers mentioned it as well. They need a lot of investment going forward. So let's see how they do in the Europa League.
I think a key player that we didn't see a lot of post restart was James Maddison, and he was a big loss for Brendan Rodgers. But I think Rodgers and Leicester can hold their head up high. They had a magnificent season. They still are in Europe and in the Europa League position, coming in 5th position. So a lot to be proud of. And speaking of Europa, the Spurs managed to, Tottenham Hotspurs and Jose Mourinho managed to get in 6th position that guaranteed them Europa League. And Kai, to get your opinion on this.
Yet. Yeah.
It is guaranteed.
Yeah, not guaranteed yet. Because if we win the FA Cup, we take that position and then out of the Europa. So that would be brilliant.
Always coming with a loophole, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's exactly why I wanted your opinion on it. So obviously, Jose was celebrating that 6th position, Europa. They are guaranteed that 6th position, Kai. If you defeat Chelsea in the FA Cup, you actually take away Wolves' 7th position. Because remember, Man City took the League Cup, so 5th and 6th are guaranteed Europa.
Oh yeah, they took the League Cup as well.
That's correct. So
now it doesn't feel so sweet when
it won't be as sweet. But I want to get your thoughts on Jose and Spurs getting that Europa League position and obviously celebrating like the way he did. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's two things on this one, right? So I mean, Jose has always laughed at other teams, specialists in failure, celebrating, simple performances. I remember the one to even ridicule one of the managers for celebrating a draw, something of that sort, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't understand
how Klopp, by the way. But carry on, Kai.
Yeah, I don't understand how he can celebrate this as if it's something that's so major. At the end of the day, he had a good side. It wasn't a bad side, that Spurs side. It was a Pochettino side that did incredibly well in the Champions League season before, and I don't think he should celebrate coming into that position. He should have definitely wanted to get higher, And then the second part to this is that I don't feel that the other teams have done well or well enough. So for him to even celebrate the position that he landed up in, it's actually showing the flaws in that Spurs side and him as a outdated manager, because he feels that this is an achievement when it isn't.
Yeah.
The rest of the clubs have just scraped into those top 4 and top 5 and whatever. And
But
it just shows how his rank as a manager has dropped, to be honest.
Badly, yeah.
That's true. But I guess
but he has half a season.
Kai is also being harsh on the man, and that's exactly it. Ozzy has had half a season. I think he's done great.
How many managers have had half a season? Well,
I don't know,
not
but
necessarily,
he had
right?
half a season.
I think Jose can be judged at the end of next season when he's got a chance to bring in some of his own players. He's got a full preseason, maybe not even a full preseason to get his guys on the training ground. But he celebrated, and I'm pretty sure Spurs fans out there are excited to be in Europe next season. Moving on to Arsenal.
Yeah, positive vibes you want to carry into the next season, you know?
Yeah, but that does, even Raj, why should they celebrate making it into the Champions League when they should have actually won it? I don't understand why there has to be such a big discrepancy in these things now.
It is a morale thing, Kai, and I think it's something, and you've got the baggage of many years where people didn't look up to the fact of top 4 being an achievement. But right now, we've seen the likes of Solskjaer and now Mourinho celebrating being successful in achieving their targets, which should be championships and trophies. But now top 4 and Europe is what needs to be done. And I want to talk a bit about Arsenal before we move off this segment, because good to get your opinion here. Arsenal 3-2 victory in the final game of the season, getting some momentum going into the FA Cup final, but conceding 2 very poor goals to a Watford team that was relegated. What's your thoughts on Arsenal getting FA Cup victory and maybe joining the Europa League next year? Good?
So you can't say that in the last game of the season, Watford are fighting to stay in the Premier League. You can't say it's the same Watford. A different team. I expected that banging goal game. Knew there was going to be firepower on both ends, because Arsenal also want to go into the FA Cup with some momentum. Respectable also to look at the top half of the table. They were sitting in the red zone. They're slipping into going to the bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
So they also pulled one through as well. I mean, that's what Premier League is about, I guess. That there's so much of competition and so many teams playing at it. They all want some reward, some solace. So, like, there's the Champions League celebrations, the Europa League celebrations.
Yeah.
Staying in the Premier League celebrations. Everyone needs to have. I mean, if it was a competition where only the champion gets to have a party, then we have 19 sad, depressed-looking teams.
That's true. And I mean, we saw the guys who saved relegation, Aston Villa and Shea, I want to pull you in here. Those celebrations were immense by Villa and the team who saved their Premiership status with a draw in the last game of the season. Shea, what's your thoughts on Villa and their great escape, some might call it, Shea?
Very well deserved. I think it was a very dramatic end to the season, and you could see how much it meant to those players. I know I caught the highlights of the game, and I saw Jack Grealish missing an early chance that he really should have buried. And at that point, I thought, okay, Villa's done. They're going down. And him wearing the captain's armband, he picked himself up, dusted himself off, and he managed to get the equalizer. And I think he can be the proudest man in the Premier League on the day, to know that he kept his side up. It's another year in the Premier League. It's a huge achievement for them. And I think it's very well deserved.
Yeah, definitely. Villa and the likes of John Terry being a number 2 at Villa Park gets another opportunity next year to try and establish themselves again as a Premier League team. But unfortunate for the likes of Norwich and Bournemouth and Watford will be playing in the championships. Some exciting players in each of those teams, and I want to go around the table with all of you guys to get a shout out from each of you to close out this segment on those three teams, I want you to give me two names who you think were from those teams or have the caliber to be back in the Premier League next season. Let's start with Cass. Villa, Bournemouth, and Watford. Give me two names that you see will be back in the
Villa?
Premier League next season.
Well, I think you mean Bournemouth, Watford, and Norwich, right?
Yes, sorry, Cass. Yes,
Yeah.
the three relegated teams.
Okay. I think my favorite that I'll go for is Doucouré from Watford, the big central midfielder.
Yep, strong guy.
Not one of the obvious choices, but I think he can be a good signing for some Premier League teams. He's a really good player. And then I kind of admire Joshua King from Bournemouth as another one.
Big ups.
My two.
Big respect for Josh King, being an ex-United player, a Liverpool man, Cass giving his name in the hat there. So Josh King probably back in the Premier League, definitely an exciting player. Kai, two names of the three relegated teams, Watford, Bournemouth, and Norwich. Kai?
Yeah, I think just before I carry on with that one, I just want to give my props there to Watford and Troy Deeney. Hope he's got the kahunas now. And so the two players that I would probably go for is Fraser from Bournemouth. I mean, that guy's been
Ryan Fraser,
immense for the past couple of years.
You guys have been linked to him previously.
Yeah, and Todd Cantwell from Norwich.
Two exciting players, young players who probably definitely have an opportunity to get back into Premier League, if not next season, but in the future. So Catwell and Fraser on Kai's radar. Gur, on your side, who are you picking from
Man,
the
I
three
suppose
relegated
put
teams?
all four of the names that these guys just mentioned, but to just add a few in the mix and make like this biryani. Tim Krul. Tim Krul for sure.
Tim Krul, a big name. We've seen him play for Newcastle previously, so you're seeing him coming back to the Premier League?
Yeah, wasn't he with Spurs first?
No, he was at Newcastle, if I remember
Before
correctly.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
Newcastle.
this guy like 40-something, man.
Yeah, and who can ever forget his heroics for the Dutch?
Yeah, World Cup.
And Callum Wilson.
Yeah,
Wilson is good.
He's always been a great buy.
Injuries
on your
only
fantasy
problem.
team.
Let's check and go,
So
what a player.
that's Wilson.
Constantly plays. Like he'll have a bad game here and there, but most of the time, that's performing.
So that's Wilson and Krul from Gur. And Shay, to close out, two names on your side.
Number one has to be Todd Cantwell. He is just a youngster full of passion and energy, and he's very creative in that midfield. He's one of those players who buzz when he's on the field, and you actually need that. You need a youngster who's going to drive you and take you forward. And the other one I'll give it to has to be Ramsdale in goals. So Aaron Ramsdale,
Bournemouth.
I think he had a great season. Behind Pope, I think he was the number two for me. So, yeah.
Great names there, Shay. I think there's lots of great players from these three teams that, young players especially, that could make the step up back into the Premier League. And hopefully we do see some of these exciting guys. Two names that I want to put out there is an exciting little Argentine playing in the center of Norwich's midfield that I'm secretly hoping Liverpool purchase to replace Lallana, that being Buendia. Very creative, good vision. And center midfield for Bournemouth, Lewis Cook, another young combative midfielder. I don't think you guys would have seen a lot of him, but I actually was watching some videos of him earlier this week. So some exciting young names that could re-establish themselves in the Premier League next season. Hard luck to the three relegated teams, but well done to Villa and the guys who've made Europe. I think it's been an exciting English Premier League season, and just a few weeks before we start the next season. Exciting
It's not
stuff
over
for all of
fast,
us.
There's still one more game left, man.
Yeah. Cup competitions going on. But guys, moving on to the next segment, the Ballon d'Or. So we spoke a lot about the team success in the English League and in other leagues around Europe, but unfortunately there won't be any individual Ballon d'Or success for anyone this year due to COVID. The Ballon d'Or team has decided to cancel the presentation of the award this year due to the COVID situation. But many exciting talents that missed an opportunity to take that award. And I want to get all of your thoughts on who could have potentially been in line to take this award this year.
Before that, can I just ask, is that how it's pronounced? Is that the correct pronunciation?
Ballon
Ballon
d'Or.
d'Or.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
It
right.
is.
I've been
Ballon d'Or.
incorrect my whole life.
It's a French magazine that's been rated to be the most highly coveted individual prize in the world football, even above FIFA World Player of the Year. We know year after year, Ronaldo, Cristiano, that is, and Lionel Messi has dominated this award. Ronaldo himself has taken the award 5 times and Messi 6 times. So Ronaldo has missed out. Maybe to pull Cass in. Cass, Ronaldo has a brilliant season for Juve. Do you think he would have been up amongst the pigeons to take this 6th Ballon d'Or award, Cass?
I think regardless of his season, he would have been there. I mean, just based on him being Ronaldo. But yeah, adding to that, I think he scored 30 goals in Serie A. So he's definitely proved it. I think he'll also feel like he's missed out. There would have been Euros as well that would have went on. Who knows how he would have done there. So yeah, a tough one for everybody, I guess. I'm sure Ronaldo would have been up. Yeah.
And Ronaldo obviously always up there. A few names that not always up there, but after the last year would be many of the big Liverpool guys. And I want to pull Kai into this one. Kai, the likes of Salah and Mane, are you seeing them as potentially have been in line for this award if it took place?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Salah and Mane are brilliant for Liverpool, but they weren't even the best midfielders in the Premier League. KDB was way better than all of them. You know, he had 20 assists. He tied Henry's record for the most amount of assists in the EPL. For me, the person that could have taken it from a Liverpool perspective was probably Van Dijk for me.
Yeah. And I was actually going to move on to the defenders that potentially had an opportunity and pull Shay into that conversation. Shay, Kai mentioned Virgil as a potential Ballon d'Or winner this year. I want to get your thoughts on him, but also a fellow defender, Sergio Ramos. He's had a brilliant season helping Real Madrid get another La Liga title. What was the odds on a defender taking the Ballon d'Or this year? Shay?
I think it's very unlikely that a defender is going to take the Ballon d'Or anytime soon. Unless it's the same year as the World Cup and he manages to snatch a Champions League and he manages to be captain at the same time. I think Cannavaro is the closest that we've got. I don't think Van Dijk is
actually the only defender.
He's won it. He won it. All right. I don't think. Well, Van Dijk, he did well. He did brilliantly this season, but no international accolades makes it a bit difficult. I guess if there was a season where it goes ahead and a defender like Trent or Van Dijk manages to win a Champions League, a league, and a World Cup or something of that sort, some big accolades, then yeah, they're in with a huge shot. But they have to have those trophies behind their names. Just based on individual performance, it's not going to be good enough to get the votes. It's going to go to strikers and midfielders predominantly, and that's hugely based on statistics. So it's a bit of a biased award in that regard. I don't think we're ever going to see a goalkeeper winning it anytime soon. But like I said, if they get the trophies behind their name, then maybe they have a chance. Just a league title. I mean, as good as Ramos is, he's brilliant. But in that year that Spain won the World Cup, if he had the Champions League and the Euro, but then there'll still be somebody else in the Spanish team would probably put him to it anyway. So
yeah. And I think you just touched on it. I want to put Gur into this. Goalkeepers are, and Gur being a goalkeeper yourself, I know you're going to have a strong opinion on this. Goalkeepers are always overlooked in these big awards. And Shay mentioned the Spanish team that won the Euros and the World Cup in 2010. Casillas was overlooked then. Buffon was overlooked in Italy's prime years. But this year, the likes of Thibaut Courtois at Madrid and Alisson at Liverpool lifted some of the biggest trophies. Why are goalkeepers overlooked in this award? Good. in your opinion?
I don't know, man. I'm swaying with what she is saying and how it becomes a numbers thing. And I don't feel like the guys that are making these decisions are that analytical in terms of understanding what they're actually watching. It's all like marketing, people involved.
It's reporters.
It's
reporters that make the votes.
The
They don't
popularity
really
contest.
understand. I mean, because
Right.
we as football players, we would appreciate what a good goalkeeper looks like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was even a season or two, De Gea was carrying the weight of United through. No one could see how bad we really were.
Yeah, but at least we're giving him Player of the Month every month.
So, and I mean, it's even like Casillas, that was a swap one. He could have had it.
Yeah, but now you look at Casillas and you look at Xavi and Iniesta in the same team. That's the reason why goalkeepers get overlooked, I guess. There's always somebody to outshine them on the field.
Yeah,
but it's not about outshining.
It's
flair.
There was also manual
entertainment, right? It's all entertainment, yeah, it's true. But I mean, you're giving it to a skill and it's a player, all-round player, what he brings to the team, if he's a captain, yes. Super captain would be a good one. Also standard. Yeah, it's sad, but it's all about the money, yeah.
So as you're saying, you believe that a goalkeeper winning this major award for individual footballer is probably not going to happen in our era?
Yeah, unless light shines out of every other first one, man. Don't make it.
Hey, Neuer was third one season, eh? He was behind,
that's the closest.
In 2014, he won the World Cup. And
Van Dijk went to second last year, right?
Yeah. So it's getting closer. It's getting closer.
But you know what it's also showing, and then also we got Luka Modric around. So we got so used to Ronaldo, Messi. It's showing that these guys. There's so many names to talk about. Really, no one even mentioned the main man. The main man.
Who's your main man?
Are we hitting the Raj? Because I would like to say Lewandowski.
Yes, that's exactly where we're heading. And I think, in my opinion, Robert Lewandowski should have been the one holding up the big goal ball this year. More than 50 goals for Bayern Munich in the past season. He's been brilliant. He's my pick. If I had to give one pick, we had a complete segment about him a few episodes ago. That's how brilliant he's been. He deserves all the plaudits that he's been given over the last few months, and should have been crowned off with a Ballon d'Or to his name. But unfortunately, 2020 Ballon d'Or it's been closed out. But my vote goes to Lewandowski. Around the table, boys. Let's start with Cass. Who would you give that award to if you had to pick one name of that?
I guess I'd be biased like everyone else and go with Virgil van Dijk.
Van Dijk for the Ballon d'Or 2020 from Cass. Good. On your side, one name. Who would that be?
I think Lewandowski.
Lewandowski.
Yeah.
For sure. Shay, who's your pick? Shay is thinking quite hard there. We can't hear him. That's all.
Sorry. I was on mute for a second. It has to be Lewandowski, but Kevin De Bruyne is right next to him. I mean, it's very tight between those two.
Close call, but you're going with the big poll.
Have to, purely based on his number of goals he got this season and his consistency throughout.
Just for the listeners out there, I'm not calling Lewandowski literally a Pole, but he is a Poland international, and Polish people are called Poles. Kai, on your side, last name out the hat for 2020 Ballon d'Or.
I think I want to just change it up a little bit. For me, it's a guy. I mean, this competition, I always say it's about the trophies, finals, goal scoring, and Mbappe has won the French league. He's in the cup of the final that he's not going to be playing.
Good call.
And he's the highest goal scorer in the French league. Why can't he get it?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate the World Cup doesn't count this year as well. It would be nice if the World Cup counted throughout.
Yeah,
that's true. Mbappe is a name that hasn't been spoken a lot. So from the streets of South Africa, our vote goes 3 for Lewandowski. So Lewandowski, we give you the Ballon d'Or from the streets of SA. Congrats on a brilliant season, and let's hope that this COVID situation doesn't take away the accolades that you should get, along with the likes of Van Dijk, Mpampe, Kevin De Bruyne. Great season, gents, and keep it up next season. Can't wait to watch you again. And now we move on to the last segment, everybody. This is an exciting one, trivia, and this week's trivia segment is all about it's the 2010 World Cup. We'll be going down memory lane to the 2010 World Cup and running a trivia segment.
Nice talk there, yeah.
Memories,
Yeah. That song just reminds everyone of the 2010 World Cup just here on our shores. An exciting time for all South Africans and all Africans. The first ever World Cup to be held in Africa. We were lucky enough to have it right on our doorsteps. I know all of us were in Durban at that point, and we felt the vibe. We felt that waka waka feeling. So to bring back 10 years later, a little bit of trivia, boys. As we enjoyed it last week, we're gonna make it a segment every now and then on the CrabNet.
Always get nervous at this part.
I hope you brushed up on your 2010 knowledge, or you're pulling back on some of those memories, your lighty days watching the likes of Messi and Ronaldo on South African soil. So the way it's going to work for Cass, you didn't join us in the last episode where we debuted the trivia segment. We literally just having some fun amongst each other, where I hit you guys with a few questions, and at the end of the round, we look at who's got the highest number. So each of you will have a separate question that I'll ask you, and we'll just chat on it if there's something exciting that catches your mind. Boys, so to start with you, Cass, as the new boy and the guest for our day, 2010 World Cup was obviously something that was very fun to all of us, but I think everyone remembers that first goal by Siphiwe Shabalala. What I want you to give me an answer for as the first question on the trivia is, what was... No, it wasn't, but it's not down the questioning line, but maybe that's one you can give us as a side note. But I want to know, what was the key phrase that the commentator made after Shabalala put the ball in the top corner for the first goal of the 2010 World Cup? Cass?
One small step for man.
I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna go Laduma. I don't know.
Incorrect. Beep. Bad one, Cass. This one was replayed on millions of screens. Anyone want to help Cass out, boys?
No idea.
Come on.
Didn't they say this is a goal for Africa or something in this one?
Kai is on to something. Gur, any guesses? Oh,
I can't think of.
listeners out there, I apologize. My resident analysts have not had the informed opinions that they should have. So
we were at the fan park. There was no commentary at that.
To play it back.
Yeah.
Screaming, Blue was listening to commentators.
Drum roll. I'm going to give it to you all. Drum roll.
Give it to us.
Shabalala. Goal for South Africa. Goal for Africa. Jabulani. Rejoice. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, sounds familiar, but I was never going to get that.
Remember what happened?
A famous goal, but I mean, the emotion that ran through when that goal went in was high, and it started off the World Cup just as all of us wanted, with an African passion. But Cass, you on 0. Moving on to the next question. This one will be to Gur. Gur, 2010 World Cup wasn't the highest scoring World Cup, but for the first time ever, there were 3 people who were joint top scorers at the World Cup. I want you to give me at least one of the names, and thereafter we'll go to Shay and Gur to give us the Shay and Kai to give us the remaining two.
Sure. Wasn't Muller one of them?
Thomas Muller. Well done, Gur.
Good call.
That's 1 point for Gur.
I think I remember the
No,
others.
I'm going for the next one being Shay. Shay, give us the second name.
And give you two.
Only one.
All right, I'll go with Wesley Schneider. It's easier of the two.
Come on.
Do you think he's correct, Gur?
Yes,
No.
I remember Schneider was a man.
Schneider was on form. He finished off on like 5 or so goals.
Netherlands to the finals.
Well done. Wesley Schneider was the also a
Oh.
They gave it to
Top
Muller
scorer.
because Muller had more assists.
David Villa, man.
Yeah, that's the other one I
Yeah.
had. I don't know who the fourth one is.
So actually, I've got this wrong because Via.
It is
It
more.
was Via. It was the first name that
Diego
you gave was
Forlan
Muller.
as well.
But it was Diego Forlan was the third one. Wesley Schneider was the player of the tournament.
No, Wesley
No.
Schneider also had 5 goals. You sure?
Yeah, it was a
The
three
return was Diego
joint.
Forlan.
It was
Let me
Golden-
Google it.
it was a
Golden
three
ball.
joint. It was three joint top goal scorers being Forlan,
Poland.
Being Muller?
Yeah.
and
Hey,
Via.
you're wrong. There were 4 of them. Wesley Schneider was also there. He also had 5 goals.
Golden Boot went
I remember
to-
watching him. He scored. I
Muller.
remember watching that one of his goals. That's why.
Golden Ball went to Forlan. That was the player of the tournament. Golden Boot was gold into Muller. I think because of the assists.
Yeah.
And then
'Cause it
they
was a
also work
four-way
on like how many minutes you play. So if you have the same
minutes.
amount of assists,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you play less minutes is a more effective player.
So we're going for 4, and all 3 of you gave me answers. So Cass, you got some catching up to do. Next question up for you. Next question up for you, Cass. Who was the only? Actually, let me leave this question to one of the other boys. Cass, I'm going to pull you in for a more local question. So South Africa had one victory. Bafana beat the French in the last game of the round robin. Unfortunately, it didn't get us through. But there was a very famous keeper for the French team who allowed these 2 goals to go through him. It might not be the type of person and goalkeeper that you're thinking of, but I want you to tell me who that keeper was for France. Many years ago.
Oh, 98? What are you talking about? 2010
No,
World Cup?
2010.
Not
2010.
Fabian Barthez.
It's
Yeah.
not
Not
Fabian
Fabian.
Barthez.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, I remember there was some controversy with that French squad.
Yep.
Who was really keeping at that time? My mind's gone blank. I can't do that. French goalkeeper.
That's
I know the
another.
score was 3-2.
No, it was actually 2-1 to our boys Bafana. And
Okay.
the goalkeeper for France, surprisingly, was
Wait, I
Hugo
think I
Lloris.
I thought so.
Lloris is
Wow.
still the French goalkeeper. He lifted the World Cup with France just 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And he was also in goals for the French team that went home in a load of controversy with lots of debacle around Patrice Evra and the likes, who was anti the coach at that point. So moving on to the next question, boys, and this is the one, and I'm maybe going to pose to Shay. Shay, who was the only unbeaten team in the 2010 World Cup?
I knew this
Unbeaten.
one.
Unbeaten team has to be Spain. I mean, wait. Unless somebody drew all their games. Hold up.
I think Switzerland beat them.
Don't go on Google now.
Yeah,
Shay.
wait. No, I'm not Googling anything. It's, yeah, Switzerland did beat Spain. They beat them in Durban. Then it must,
Come on, quick guess.
I'm going to go with Portugal.
Beep, incorrect.
Netherlands.
Beep,
was it?
incorrect.
Then who
Girl,
was it?
Can you
Can I
give them
have
the
a point?
Spain.
beep?
That's
Incorrect. Cass, you can give them the answer there.
Half a point. New Zealand. Drew
Well
all
done,
What?
Cass.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
It's
New
Spain,
Zealand.
like, I think they lost their first game or something, right?
Yep, they did. They
Spain
were
lost,
Yeah, they lost
Switzerland.
their first game.
But
I think they didn't lose after that.
a surprising.
I'm sure they didn't lose after that. Because they also didn't have.
They didn't, yes, but they did lose the very first game that they played.
The first game only, yeah, but it doesn't count for much, right?
a surprising addition to the New Zealand squad. Any guesses for who was a young striker playing for New Zealand that came off the bench for every one of those 3 games that they drew?
Cahill. Was Cahill?
No, Cahill is always
Australia.
It's Wood, right? Wood.
It's Shane's
really?
famous Chris Wood.
What?
Wood.
New Zealand also had Winston Reid at that time.
Yep, and he scored a late equalizer. So some big names in that New Zealand team who's gone on to do some great things in the Premier League. Another surprising stat is that Lionel Messi did not get a single goal in the 2010 World Cup, even though he had 29 shots on target. And
that's crazy.
That is generally something that's posed against the Messi being the GOAT argument. He's not performed in the big stage.
And you know what? Just his excuse, the vuvuzelas. They were too distracted. I remember that.
He's made the final twice, right? Argentina made the final twice. And I remember once Gonzalo Higuain had a sitter to wrap it up, but can't always put the weight on Messi's shoulders. He needs a team behind him sometimes. So
that's true. That's true. Boys, trivia is always fun. It helps us get our memories going, and we're going to share the spoils for this round. Everyone's got a point each. Cass just got back into the game with his Chris Wood and New Zealand. So it's a great stuff. But I want to go around the table. 10 years ago, all of you were enjoying the World Cup, as was I. What are your favorite memories of the 2010 World Cup to close out our show for this week? Let's start with Shay.
The tourism. I mean, having all these foreigners on our shores in Durban, meeting people from all around the world who are just here to have a good time, and people were moving around freely. You know, there wasn't that paranoia of crime and stress. Going into the fan parks. The fan parks for me were amazing. I just wish they kept the fan parks throughout. Like, I wish every World Cup they brought them back. I see they do it in other countries and stuff, but maybe South Africa is not too well equipped for it. But yeah, it's just that atmosphere of having so many different people from all around the world on our shores. The World Cup, Soccer World Cup, is actually the biggest sporting event in the world, with the Olympics second. So for us to have hosted that was truly a privilege, and I'll never forget it. I'm sure none of you all will.
For sure. Kai, on your side, what's your best memory of the 2010 World Cup?
Yeah, I think I echo Shane's one with regard to the fan parks. I mean, that was the best experience that you could have had. I mean, even if you didn't have tickets to go and watch the matches in the stadium, the atmosphere that you got in the fan parks was just good enough, you know? Well, sometimes better in some instances.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for me, that was the highlight.
It sounds like the fan parks are the biggest one that comes to memory. For you, Cass, what's your best memory of that 2010 World Cup period here in South Africa?
Yeah, just to echo what the previous guy said as well. Like, you know, it was the fact that it didn't feel like South Africa, and we know what we mean by that. You know,
yeah,
we could walk on the beachfront and just meeting people waving their flags. It felt like we were in a different world almost.
Yeah.
And above and beyond the football, it just felt so great. Like everyone was happy at that time.
Sure.
You know, it was amazing. It was great to be a part of.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Did you have something that maybe was slightly different from the fan parks that you have a fond memory of from the 2010 World Cup?
Yeah, Shakira. No, but seriously, also, this guy said everything. There's nothing else that I can say. I mean, it was just so nice that the whole country came together. I think just together. Yeah, the country came together and we were unified in a level that we never thought possible, to be honest. And and Shakira.
And Shakira. we can't forget Shakira. Shout out to Shakira. There's a sound way for her. But when we hear these songs, we all think back to the 2010 World Cup, and we hope this little segment has helped all of you revisit some of those memories. As we do on the streets of South Africa, we talk about some of our favorite memories in football, and 2010 is most certainly one of the best memories for every South African from a football perspective. So we hope you took it on memory lane for that. But gents, another great show. Thank you for giving me your time. Always appreciate the resident analyst being on the show, and especially you, Cass, for giving us your time again. I hope you enjoyed it, Cass.
Always. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks, Raj.
Gents, Shay, Kai, Gur, always a pleasure hearing your opinions.
Cool, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Great.
Cheers.
And listeners out there, hope you enjoyed today's show, bringing some fresh, authentic opinions on the football scene, both the current football scene as well as walks down memory lane. Some exciting topics on today's show. Hope you found it interesting, and if you did, give us a shout out on social media, drop us a comment or an email. Also send us some questions. Maybe we can get some comments in around things that's on your mind in future episodes. But always love bringing you this football conversations fresh from the streets of South Africa, and looking forward to the next episode of the Crab Net Show. Thanks for your time. Over and out.